fish report. Don't need no bait, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report, hanging at the fish report, hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head and D tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
And welcome everyone to another Fish Report Live. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Fissinger. That is Ken Francis. Of course, back in our sound room, TK and Heavy D are back there. We're going to be chatting with them a little bit later in the show. And after their debut last week, happy to announce that Covey and Kearns are back for another week, and going to be excited to hear what they have to say about the wide world of sports. And Ken, it sounds like a lot of fun tonight.
Yes, it is, Craig. Really interested to talk to our interview tonight, Craig. We got Anna interview golfer Eli Kuck, big Shelby County tournament coming up this weekend on Thursday. He's one of the top golfers in the Shelby County League, Craig. Like you said, we're going to go back and talk to Covey and Kearns. They did a great job last week. And, of course, in the sound room, we got TK and Heavy D. And we're going to talk about some volleyball. We're going to talk some football. It's that time of year, Craig. It's the fall. It's golf, cross country, volleyball, football. And we're here to give it all to you tonight.
Yeah, we're going to hit them all tonight, that's for sure. But before we do that, just like we do here every week on Fish Report Live, we have our weekly poll question. And speaking of the SCAL tournament, that's tonight's poll question.
Yes, it is, Craig. We're going to talk a little bit of golf and which of these teams has the best chance to win Thursday's Shelby County League golf tournament. Is it Anna, Fort Loramie, Jackson Center, or Russia? Which of those four teams right there do our viewers feel has the best chance of winning? You know, it's at Shelby County, or it's at Shelby Oaks this year, Craig. That does play an advantage to some of the teams that play more often at Shelby Oaks, like the Anna Rockets, for example. Anna sitting at Fort Loramie sitting at 6-0 in the first round of tournament. They got a very good team this year, and Russia's been playing very well as of lately as well. So it'll be a fun day. It's supposed to be nice weather, Craig. And if you're sitting at home doing nothing tomorrow, mid-afternoon, go out and watch some good golf.
I saw that poll question this afternoon on the Fish Report website, and I saw it already lighting up there. People were registering their votes. There's still time. You still got about a half an hour. So if you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page, you can scroll down, answer tonight's poll question, and check the results. If you're watching us on NK Telco, TK is going to have those results for you at the end of the show. All right, Ken, well, let's get things started. And last week, we covered a number of fall sports. We talked some volleyball. We talked some football. We talked some golf. The one sport we didn't hit, though, just happens to be my favorite sport, and that is, of course, cross country. I love it. I know we like talking about it. Mm-hmm. We've talked about it here on this program for the last 7 years and a lot of our shows. But let's break things down, girls, boys. And I know what we're most concerned about is always the end of the season. Who's going to make it to state? Who are the best teams that can get out of that D3 Troy regional down there and make it to state? And I'll start with you here, and let's start with the girls. Who do you like so far here at the midway point of the season?
Well, Craig, last Saturday, actually, I was on the Troy levee watching the Troy Invitational. Russia wasn't there. Actually, their junior high was, and it just brought a lot of excitement to me, thinking, I'm going to be here in 4 or 5 weeks and watching the regional, and what a great venue that is over there. But from a girls' perspective, Chris, Craig, it's always one of the top regionals in the state of Ohio. This year is going to be nothing different. Right now, I think you got to give the edge to the West Liberty Salem Big Orange Tigers. They're running really well. They're led by Caitlin Stapleton, Grace Adams, Reagan Belinsky, all under 20 minutes right now. They got a really nice a pack of runners there, Craig. So West Liberty running very well. Fort Loramie girls, Craig, led by Paige Reisman, got a really strong team this year. Versailles, Craig, they're back into our division again this year. They've kind of teeter back and forth between Division II, Division III, but they're back in it again this year. They'll be at the Troy Regional. The Russia Raiders, Craig, led by Becca Seger, the freshman phenom who's having a phenomenal year this year. And then you got Covington, the Lady Buccaneers, always tough. Those 5 teams, Craig, I really like West Liberty to advance. I really like Fort Loramie right now to advance. after that, Craig, between Versailles, Russia, and Covington, 2 of the 3 are going to make it. Unfortunately, one of them's not.
I agree with everything you said there, and I agree West Liberty is the team right now to beat. They have that freshman, Caitlin Stapleton, you just mentioned her, and she has been just came on, this first year as a freshman and really done well. She is leading that team right now and learning as she goes on, so she's only going to get better. But I give them the edge right now, and I agree. Fort Laramie, a lot of youth there, very young, a lot of freshmen, sophomores, and they're very good. And I think for sales, I was at actually Fort Laramie Invitational on Tuesday night, and one runner that's been kind of off and on for them is Kara Spitzer, and she's a girl that we know because she's a front runner a lot last year. Had some nagging injuries through the track season over the whole summer, and she's a girl. Last night she didn't even run. She was walking around in street clothes. She's a girl. I think if they get healthy, Ken, I think if Kara Spitzer gets healthy, I think Versailles has a legitimate shot to challenge for that, believe it or not, that number 1 spot come Troy Regional here in October. But that's a big if. That's a big if. She has to get healthy. Laramie Covington, I can see right now the way they're running, I see them battling it for that probably that number 4 spot right now. But you never know. It's early. It's early.
It's early, Craig, and like you said, it just really comes down to that one big meet. That Saturday late morning. It's cold. It's brisk, and they're running in Troy. They're running on the levee. The fans are there. Everybody's screaming and yelling, and it'll come down to who can run a great race at Troy. And, right now, but I think those are your top 5 teams, barring any significant injuries to those teams. Those are your top 5 teams, Craig. One of them's not going to make it.
That's for sure. And let's talk about the boys here a little bit too. On the boys' side, again, who are the 4 teams we think can make it out of the Troy Regional here in October and make it to state right now at the halfway point of the season? I see the number 1 team as the same team that won the state last year, the Fort Laramie Redskins, and you're saying, well, hey, wait a minute. They graduated Tom Ballas. They graduated Alan Holt-Heide. How can they still be number 1? Well, they still got a nice core there, as you see on the screen right now with Jake Raithman and Joe Ballas and Noah Siegel there. But they're top 3 runners for sure. You throw in a couple other guys in there like Colin Luthman, who finished 4th for him at the Fort Laramie Invitational. And then you've got a guy, Mitchell Burning, that's a junior that actually I think just started running cross country this year. He's kind of been a pleasant surprise for the Redskins, running in that 4-5 spot for him right now. I've been told that another guy, Jordan Drees, another boy for them that's got a lot of potential, could crack that top 5 for them. So I still see them as number 1. Number 2, and real close right now, happens to be in the same league, is the Houston Wildcats. And they're led, of course, by Tristan Freisteller and Ethan Knopf, who you see right there. They're number 1, 2. Real close to him is Parker Cox, who is a very nice runner for him, but they have a solid team. Houston is good enough to challenge Laramie in small and bigger meets. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that all unfolds as the season goes on. But Houston, very good. And then the number 3 team is another local team, the Versailles Tigers. Of course, they're led by Joe Spitzer, who's not only one of the best runners in the area, probably in Southwest Ohio, and possibly one of the better runners in the state right now, but running very well right now. He leads them. I see them as a number 3. And the number 4, I think you got to go south, and we're probably talking like a Clark Montessori or maybe a Summit Country Day, somebody like that we're going to see at the regionals that we don't know a lot about, but they're probably going to fill that number 4 spot. But those are my top 4 teams right now. So there you have it, Ken. It's good. Like I said, none of this stuff really matters right now, but once we get closer to October, it sure
doesn't matter right now, Craig, but it's still a lot of fun to talk about. It's just like the state polls, whether you're talking volleyball, football, or whatever. They don't mean anything, but they're still fun to talk about.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the new cross-country polls came out just tonight, just hot off the presses tonight, and a lot of those same teams we mentioned. The girls' side, as you mentioned, kind of fell in that exact same order. The boys' side, you got Fort Laramie and Houston cracking that state poll, and Versailles still hasn't got in there yet, but I think as the season goes on that you'll see them in the state poll. But there you have it for our favorite cross-country teams at the midway point of the season. I want to talk some more sports, some more fall sports, talk a little volleyball and a little football. And for that, we're going to go to our experts, the guys that were such a hit last week, Covey and Kearns. And for a report on that, let's go out to Studio R.
Tear them up, Covey and Kearns.
Thanks for having us. So, Daniel, it was a pretty exciting week in football here. We had Coldwater and Marion play in the first week of league play. They always talk about the 50-50 over there, but these guys have been kings of the MAC the past couple years, and they had a nice 13-7 battle. Marion came out on top after Coldwater's dominated the past few years, won on a few last-second field goals. And now that Marion has won that, Daniel, do you think they have an advantage in winning the league now?
Definitely they do. Beating a team that's dominated the MAC the past few years, I think that they've established their dominance in the MAC, and they'll be able to take full control the rest of the way through the season.
And a game I attended Friday night, I attended the Anna and Versailles game. Anna is now 3-0. They're looking very sharp in MAC play. They have New Bremen Friday night. Will most likely go 4-0, but they have a brutal schedule to finish. Do you think these Rockets have great potential to go and make a deep playoff run?
You know, I heard about that Versailles-Anna game, and I heard Anna looked really well in that game. And I think with the type of football that they're playing right now, they'll play really good the second half of the season, and I see them coming out with a pretty good record and making a playoff run. Well,
now that Coldwater is 1-2, after winning their first game, they've lost back-to-back games for the first time since 1996. They have a nice test this Friday at Fort Recovery, who we know won the state championship 2 years ago. What do they got to do to recover for Friday for a tough test at Fort Recovery?
They got to play some defense against Fort Recovery. I know they got Will Holman at running back, and it's his senior year. He's really experienced there. He was on the state team, and they're going to have to stop their running game, make them throw the ball, and their corners are going to have to protect really well. And on offense, they're just going to have to get things going. You know, they only had a touchdown against Marion, so they're going to have to work on that. And I bet their coach has got them working hard this week for that game.
Also, another game we're looking at includes the same Marion Local Flyers, the defending D6 state champions. They'll make the trip up to Minster Memorial Stadium and face the Wildcats. What's the key for Marion to keep up the success that they've been enjoying lately?
They just got to keep on playing football. I know they got a junior at running back and quarterback, like I said last week, Nate Bruns and Matt Rathman. Those guys are playing well. They're 3-0 so far, so being there, he just got to keep on playing good football and keep running the ball with their Notre Dame commit on the line, and they'll win pretty well. I think the final score will be 35-14.
Yeah, I'm going to take Marion in that game. I'm going to take them by a little different score of 42-14. I think Minster's got some offensive weapons, but I think it's going to be a little while for them to break it in. They might find their stride in a few weeks like they did last year. And do you have any prediction for the Coldwater Fort Recovery game?
I got Coldwater winning 21-17.
You know, I have Coldwater winning by a little more. I think Coach Otten will have them ready to play. He hasn't really experienced this, but I know with the success he's had in the past, he will definitely have his Coldwater Cavaliers ready to play, and I'm going to be taking them 28-7. And now we will switch gears from MAC football to SCAL volleyball. And right now we have a new leader at the top. We have the hometown Russia Raiders up at 5-0 in the league. Daniel, they have not won the league since 2003. What has made the Raiders good so far?
Their setter and their big hitter, Jenna Cardania and Larissa Pulling, they have really good chemistry. So those two together, they're a deadly weapon. If you let Larissa get hot, she's really powerful. And overall, the back row's playing really well, getting the passes up to Jenna, and Jenna being able to set our hitters real well and scoring and getting a lot of momentum on our side.
Yeah, a lot of people knew the Raiders had a lot of returning talent from their district runner-up team last year, and they've been looking solid. Lost to some very good teams so far. Their losses have been against very good Versailles and a number one team in the state, New Bremen, that has Michigan commit Paige Jones. And Thursday night, they make a trip up to Laramie to face their rival, the Fort Laramie Redskins, who just came off a loss from two-time defending state champion Jackson Center. You know, Daniel, if Russia wins this, they will have a two-game lead league, so it's key for the Raiders to win. What do they got to do to get a win in their enemy territory, so to speak?
They got to come in and they got to be ready to play. They can't take it as just another game. They got to be focused. They got to be ready to go. I guarantee Coach Watkins got them working hard in practice this week, and they'll be ready to go tomorrow. They just got to be able to take that atmosphere, and it's going to be a big game just like any other game in Laramie's gym. It's going to be packed. It's going to be loud. It's going to be intense, and they just got to be able to play with it, go roll with the punches, and I got them winning in 5.
Yeah, I think Russia Laramie, that's all you have to say. I think that gets both teams up just for the game. I think what the Raiders have the advantage over from the Redskins is that they have a little more experience. The Redskins did have a team that won districts last year, but they got some holes in some spots. They're playing some sophomores and freshmen. I think that will be the difference. I think the Raiders' leadership has to take control in the game. The coaching has to take control in the game, and if anything bad happens, they just need to stay calm. And I think they'll win this game in 5 just because of the experience and leadership they have over Laramie's youth and inexperience that they have in some spots. And that is all we have from Studio R. Back to you guys.
All right, hey, Kobe Kearns, that's some great stuff. You know, you guys really cover everything well. But Kobe Kearns, I got to ask you a question. Won some love for my Sydney Yellow Jackets. What about Isaiah Bowser? The guy's averaging over 300 yards a game. What's it going to take? What's it going to take, Kobe, to give him some love?
You know, Ken, I will give him some love. I actually have my picture with Isaiah Bowser, so I've been a fan for a while. The Northwestern commit just put up a school record, rushed for over 300 yards against, I think it was Bell Fountain. But yeah, they're serious. They're the real deal. But we're gonna have to see how they do after Andre Gordon's injury.
What's his status? You got any status on him, Kobe?
I don't have any status on him yet. But the thing I take with bigger schools is I know they win around here, but come tournament time, if they run into those Trotwoods and Waynes, how they're gonna fare with them compared to other GWAC opponents.
Well, Sydney doesn't face Trotwood from what I know this season. They don't face Trotwood at all. And of course, Trotwood is Division III right now, ranked number 1 in Division III. Sydney ranked number 10 in Division II right now. So those two schools, they don't match up this year. So that's good for Sydney, I guess you can say, and their hunt for the playoffs this year. And you guys mentioned Coldwater there a little bit. Interesting fact about Coldwater, I'm sure you saw, but state rankings came out this week, and of the 70 teams ranked, the top 10 teams in each of all 7 divisions, 68 of them were 3-0, and just you had 2 of them that weren't 3-0. We had Warren JFK that was 2-1, and then you had the Coldwater Cavaliers, the only losing record of all those 70 teams at 1-2. So I guess that shows you a lot of respect for Coldwater and what they've done years past.
Well due respect as well. I mean, if you look at, would you consider Coldwater a top 10 team in Division 5 in the state of Ohio? Absolutely.
Absolutely. And speaking of top 10 teams, one more shout I want to give out. Maybe not a top 10 team, but those Jackson Center Tigers guys. Last week we were talking about them in volleyball, and they were, I think, 1-4, sitting 6th in the league. And here we are a week later, and they're sitting at 5-4 and 4th in the league. So Kim Metz, didn't take her long to figure out things over there, did it?
No, it did not. And they're going to have a tremendous second half of the season.
Absolutely. All right, great stuff. With that, we're going to take a short break, but stay right there. When we come back, we're going to talk some SCAL golf tournament, including a big interview with Anastar Eli Kuck. And welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. That commercial you heard there at the song you heard there at the commercial, of course, is from local singer-songwriter Mark Cantwell. And Mark has got a new album out called Pride in His Name. Here it is right here. You can actually pick that album up at any of his local shows that he performs. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on iTunes. Or you can go to markcantwell.com and get it. But Ken, we covered a lot there in the first half. We talked some cross country. We talked volleyball. We talked football. The only thing we didn't talk about in fall sports was golf. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the big SCAL tournament is coming up this Thursday, as you mentioned at the top of the show. Before we talk about that, though, let's take a quick look at those SCAL standings, see where we're at in golf right now.
Absolutely, Craig. Fort Laramie sitting alone there at the top, a perfect 6-0 in the first round of league play. Jackson Center at 5-1 and Anna at 4-2. So those three teams right there are legitimately the only three teams with a chance of winning the Shelby County League Championship. Russia holding their own right there at 3-3, and Farallon, Houston, and Bakken. So we'll see what happens at Shelby Oaks Golf Course tomorrow. It's supposed to be beautiful weather, and the greens should be soft, and I'm sure they'll be firing it right at the stick, Craig.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun over there, and like you said, anything can happen. Of course, one guy that's been playing extremely well this year is a senior over there at Anna High School. He is Eli Kuck. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Eli, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, Eli, we were just going through the county standings, and the first thing I noticed is that your record, you guys are sitting at 95-13-3, and when you compare that to the team that's second in the standings, Jackson Center Tigers, they're just 27-13. So you guys have played like over 70 more teams than they have, and I think, of course, that's due to a lot of invitationals that you've played. And Eli, what's been your favorite invitational so far this season?
Well, we have had 4 invitationals that have stood out. Starting with Stillwater, we got runners-up after a tie with the first 4 scores that came down to our 5th score. Echo and Turtle Creek were ones that we got runners-up in as well, but my favorite would probably have to be Beechwood because it was good conditions that day, and the team kept their heads up and finished strong to score well, and that itself got us runners-up. There were a lot of teams there from this area, and first time beating Laramie this year, so I consider that a win itself. Hopefully we have the same energy going into tomorrow.
All right, well, listen, you were a first-team All-SCAL player last year, and as I mentioned, you've been shooting extremely well this year. What have you done, Eli, since last season ended, maybe over the summer, to get ready for this year?
Well, Lima has these tournaments that they host, and those prepare me a lot because there's a lot of good kids that play in those, so that helps a lot. And then I have friends and employees at Shelby Oaks that have prepared me for this year.
Eli, hi, this is Ken. Let's talk a little bit about the big match coming up tomorrow. Of course, you lead the Anna Rockets. Who else is going to be playing for the Rockets tomorrow? And tell me a little bit about them.
We have Mason Plattfoot tomorrow, who has been throwing some good numbers up for the team. Cole Maurer has been kind of a roller coaster lately for us, and I think tomorrow when the pressure's on, he'll step up and play his game. Evan Bensman, he has been consistently playing his average this season, and we're happy with that. Isaac Kane has started with a rough season, but he has been practicing a lot, and I believe he's improved so much from the beginning of the season. Finally, final guy is going to be Bryce Havner. He will be reliable for us tomorrow.
Eli, let's look at your league, the first half of the season. You lost to Fort Laramie, you lost to Jackson Center in a couple close matches. What's it going to take for your team to come out tomorrow and shoot a good score and have a chance of at least, say, tying for the Shelby County League Championship in the overall standings?
Tomorrow it's going to take a good day. We're going to have to go into it with our heads up and just play our game. Hopefully the rain stops by tomorrow morning, and we'll go into it with our heads up.
How about Eli Kuck individually? Individual goals, target scores, place. How do you feel you can do tomorrow yourself individually?
Well, Mason and we always talk about this plan that we have. If we can go 1 over after every 3 holes, we are in good shape. That would give us about a 78, and that'd help the team out a lot.
Let's talk a little bit about the postseason. Your Division II this year, and from a team standpoint, from an individual standpoint, what's it going to take for the Rockets to continue the postseason through the sectional tournament?
Well, we moved up to Division II my sophomore year, and that year was terrible conditions to play in. It was raining all day. Last year it was really windy. We missed out on districts last year by 1 stroke to end the season, so that was disappointing. But the course plays really long, and they have really fast greens. But a few of us took a practice round earlier this year and hoping to get another one in before sectionals comes around. So, yeah.
Eli, that's at Springfield's Reed Park North. Is that correct? Is that where you've played last year as well, both your sophomore and junior year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I know sports around here, fall sports, are typically dominated, and I know, usually by football in this area. Football seems to be king. And, of course, I'm sure it's all the talk over there at Anna right now because your Anna Rockets football team is actually sitting at 3-0. When you look back at it, you're a senior now. When you look back over the years, do you wish maybe you played football, or are you happy being a golfer?
Yeah, the football team at Anna is doing great right now. A lot of my friends on the team are really confident and are looking for a good season this year. But I had spine surgery my freshman year and was told I wouldn't be allowed to play contact sports like football. But as I grew up, golf has always been a passion of mine, and I got a job at the golf course, so I am always out there, and it's a sport you can play the rest of your life, and I'm happy with that.
I think you made a good call with that. One more question before we let you go, but I know it's only September and school just started, but as we've said, you're a senior. Do you have any plans yet for graduation? Any idea what you're going to do after you graduate from Anna High School?
Yeah, I have been accepted to Bowling Green, and I plan on majoring in early childhood education as of now.
All right, Eli, that's great stuff. Wish you the best of luck on the golf course tomorrow, and yourself individually throughout the rest of the postseason. And we'll watch for your scores. And good luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, thanks for being on our show.
Yeah.
All right, that was Anna senior golfer Eli Kuck. And Ken, as you said, the conditions tomorrow, we might have some rain. We may have some sunshine. I think you said it's supposed to be a nice forecast. Raining out there right now, but that plays into it. Some guys play a little bit better in bad conditions, wet conditions. We'll see what happens. Anything can happen. But I know the Fort Laramie Redskins sitting in first place. They'd like to win it outright.
Absolutely. Coach Turner, he's got a great team this year. We talked about him last week. He's in the driver's seat. He's 6-0. But again, it's not his home course, and that does make a big difference tomorrow. And but we'll see what happens. Like you said, that sometimes the bad weather can be an equalizer, and can kind of it'll make things interesting to see what happens. But I think the rain will clear away by early late morning, early afternoon, and the course should be in extremely nice playing condition.
All right. Well, I think Heavy D was the one that spoke about Coach Turner last week, and with that, let's go back to the sound room and check in with the guys back there. Guys, what's going on in the wide world of sports?
Yeah, I'll probably be. I will definitely be out tomorrow at Shelby Oaks watching the boys tee off. Anything can happen tomorrow. You got to have 4 guys put up 4 good scores, and if you get a weak link in there, things could flop pretty easily in the county standings. So good luck to all the golfers tomorrow. Should have decent weather, and may the best team win.
Well, speaking of golf, I know over in our studio are Covey and Kearns out there. Covey, he likes to golf. He actually likes to do a lot of different things, doesn't he?
He sure does. Covey's a senior this year, and Covey's score's been continually dropping throughout the year, and some of the underclassmen asked Covey to try to do a backflip to motivate the team, and I think I got some footage of it. Let's take a look.
Well, that must have been. I don't know if that was a result of a good shot or what's going on there, but
it looks good right there.
I hope he putts better than he does a backflip. That's all I got to say.
A for effort, Covey.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. I'll tell you what, though, the boys put up from Rushi put up a good round the other day at the over at Echo Hills, and Covey's mom Karen actually made the ham sandwiches before the match. So I'm going to recommend Karen make a couple more ham sandwiches before tomorrow's Shelby County League matchup at the Oaks.
Hey, whatever works.
Could be the edge.
All right, great stuff, Heavy D. And before we get to you, TK, I know we got one more thing to get to, and that is tonight's poll question. Before you give our viewers the answer to that, I'm going to have Ken read it one more time.
All right, speaking of golf, speaking of the poll question for our viewers, which Shelby County League school has the best chance to win Thursday's golf tournament? Is it Anna, Fort Laramie, Jackson Center, or Rushi? Let's go back to the sound room. TK, what do you have for us back there?
As we've been talking, it kind of sounds like it's Laramie's to lose, but I think Eli pulled in a bunch of his buddies, and right now 54% of those that voted think Anna is going to take this one, and then we've got 25% for Fort Laramie. So we'll see. Like Daryl says, you got to play the game, and you never know what's going to happen out there on the course. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I think it's going to be really close. I think Fort Laramie on a neutral course is your best team, but you're playing on the home course of Anna in Jackson Center. So I think that's a neutralizer. I think it's going to be a great match.
Absolutely. And that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We do want to say special thanks to our guest, Eli Kuck, for joining us. Ken and I and the crew will all be back again next week. Same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, and good night, everyone.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole when you tune in to the fish report.